all from one direct genetic route back to our out-of-Africa migration. During this time, there was also an explosion of new technology. The stone tools and spears modern humans manufactured became even lighter and more effective. The Zagros Mountains were full of game, and good hunting makes stability. Likewise, they began to establish the fixed geography of burial grounds and sacred places. In Kazra in the Lebanon, the burial of a 12-year-old modern child has been found, dated 44,000 years ago. His skull is broken, his body tucked gently in the shelter in the overhanging rock. From these points, new families spread quickly to the Mediterranean, south along the coast of Syria, into North Africa, up through Turkey, across the Balkans, and into Europe. This is our new family, direct descendants of our marshland Arabs in the Gulf, entering the unknown territories of Germany. But the land they are entering is not empty. Others were there before them. Neanderthals had been the masters of Europe for over 250,000 years. In 1856, in the Neander Valley in Germany, quarrymen were digging out mud from a newly blasted site when they discovered some ribs, part of a pelvis, some arm and shoulder bones of a large human-like animal. They thought it was a bear's skeleton. Scientists later believed it was some ancient northern savage who terrified the Roman armies. Professor Chris Stringer is an expert on Neanderthals and their world.
These people became known as the Neanderthals. They became the center of a debate about human evolution, about whether these people were possibly our ancestors or whether they represented a strange side branch of human evolution. I've got here a more complete skull than the one that was found in the Neander Valley in Germany. This was found at the beginning of the last century in France, and it shows us very well what the Neanderthals looked like in the head and face. There's a strong brow ridge over the eye sockets. The whole face is pulled forward, and there's an enormous nose. There's no chin on the lower jaw. And we now think that the Neanderthals were perhaps cold adapted. They evolved for hundreds of thousands of years in Europe under conditions colder than the present day. And this shaped their physique. They were short and stocky, very powerfully built. And this nose may have been even part of a mechanism for breathing in cold and dry air. Neanderthals are often thought to be dim-witted brutes, but they certainly weren't. They were fully human. Their brains were as large as ours. I think the Neanderthals are a different species from us, but they're a closely related species, a sibling species, one that had common ancestors with us maybe only 500,000 years ago. So on that basis, the Neanderthals are fully human. They're 10 times closer to us than chimpanzees are.
If they're interbred with modern humans, their genes have died out. There's no trace of their presence in our world. Within 10,000 years, the Neanderthals were extinct. modern humans would wipe out all trace of their rivals and fill the space left behind. The reason for their disappearance is not clear. They lived alongside modern man for thousands of years, but in the end, Neanderthals probably couldn't adapt fast enough to the new world and their new resourceful rivals. Neanderthals used their bodies to mediate with nature. Modern humans use their brains. Into the void moved waves of modern humans from the Middle East and Russia, spreading throughout Europe. Scientists think that with these waves came 4 mitochondrial DNA lineages, 4 granddaughters of our out-of-Africa Eve. They arrived between 45,000 and 10,000 years ago, and most of modern Europeans can trace their lineage back to them. Neanderthal technology had hardly changed for over 200,000 years. As soon as modern humans arrived, a whole range of different tools suddenly appeared, as well as ornamentations. Archaeologists regard these ornaments as a defining mark of modern humans and the first interest in ornament in the 5 million years of evolution.
Here, one of the most famous of these statuettes from the Czech Republic, made in baked clay and about 27,000 years old, from a site called Dolní Věstonice. A beautiful little piece of work. Some of them are certainly covered with ochre, some of them are certainly polished from handling, perhaps over many generations. So these were treasured, valued objects, and obviously had ritual and symbolic significance for these people, perhaps religious significance. And here, one of the most delicate pieces of art. This is carved from mammoth ivory, which is a really difficult material to work. And this is from the French site of Bressanpuy. It's a beautiful representation of the head of what seems to be a woman, with, again, either an elaborate hairstyle or perhaps a woven hat. And this is a really delicate, beautiful piece of work. It's difficult to tell from these representations whether they are representations of real people or whether they're in some way idealised to represent some sort of ideal of beauty. In some cases, I think the detail is enough to suggest that these are based on real people. Another thing that we find with these modern people in Europe is the arrival of evidence of sewn clothing. And here's one of the most direct bits of evidence, the fact that we have a bone needle here. So these people were sewing cloth, sewing skins, with evidence that they were even weaving fabrics. And so this is another level of complexity. It would have given them a much greater range of adaptations to climate, for example, and of course much greater opportunities for personal expression, for things like fashion to develop through time. And we see this also in some of the burials, that people are being buried with garments which in some cases are covered with thousands of beads made from mammoth ivory, and each of those beads represented hours and hours of work. So we have evidence here of a real richness and complexity of life that we don't find with the Neanderthals. I've got here an engraving of a mammoth on a piece of mammoth tusk from a French site that's about 15,000 years old. But these people, these early modern people, the Cro-Magnons, didn't just carve on pieces of bone and tusk. They also sculpted, they engraved, they made models in clay. And of course they painted on the walls of their caves. And this art goes back at least to 35,000 years ago. They depicted a great variety of things, often the animals they were hunting. In some cases dangerous animals such as lions or woolly rhinoceros. In some cases we can't even recognise what creatures are represented. The creatures seem to be magical symbols, imaginary creatures. And it's possible that some of this art was being used in ceremonies, in initiation rites. Possibly even some of it was created in a trance-like state, linked in with shamanism, with magic.
Modern humans have come as far as we could come on the continent of Europe.